So Neymar has had a rough go in Saudi Arabia. The man who was out for about a year, only to re-injure himself after about 20 minutes or so into his return, a different injury as well. So it's safe to say that nobody will be happy with his time in Saudi Arabia. The club will be frustrated, though of course understanding that Neymar can't do anything about his injury proneness, while Neymar will be frustrated that he has been out of football for so long for both Al-Hilal and Brazil. Brazil need him right now, by the way. And then out of nowhere, over the last 72 hours or so, talks about Neymar returning to Santos reached an all-time high, with it looking like, that's the key word, looking like Neymar will indeed return to the club where he had so much success at the beginning of his career. There have been many things said surrounding this situation, so we'll go through everything. Statements from Santos, statements from Neymar's agent, and everyone else in between, dating all the way back to some rumblings I found in February of 2024. All of my sources are below if you want to check them out yourself, but otherwise, subscribe if you are new here for more news and other videos like this, and let's get going.
A devastating chapter in the centennial history of Santos Football Club.
Okay, first of all, fellas, I think it's important to look at where both Neymar and Santos are in their story at the moment. When it comes to Santos, they were relegated recently to Serie B last December after losing 2-1 in a match against Fortaleza. You probably remember that story because it was pretty remarkable. Santos was relegated for the first time in their 111-year history. Unbelievable. Financial issues and a lack of sort of long-term planning at the board level, poor management from the top down really. It was a culmination of all of those things that led to Santos's relegation, but it had been a few years coming in fact. They had been poor for a few seasons. Neymar, as you'll remember from seconds ago and probably knew already, is injured once again with Al-Hilal. This comes after a final season with PSG where he made just 29 appearances due to ankle issues. Honestly, around 30 appearances was Neymar's average at PSG season upon season. So in total for Neymar at Al-Hilal, he played 386 minutes in his first season with the club and played 42 minutes across 2 appearances this season before re-injuring himself on November 4th. That injury saw him get ruled out until about the end of the month if all things go well. Immediately after that injury, you began to hear chatter in the media that Al-Hilal may look to terminate his contract and try to bring some other attacker in for the January transfer window. Rumors of Cristiano Ronaldo and Mo Salah just won't go away. You can see the landscape now. Al-Hilal would probably welcome Neymar leaving, and Neymar would probably welcome a departure as well. If he's going to be injured, he may as well be in his beloved Brazil for his rehab, right? Plus after that, he can just enjoy his football. He's at a point where he clearly can't handle top-level football, or rather his body can't, before people jump all over me for that. I'm a big Neymar fan, but it's just his body can't handle football at the top level, and it's been that way for some time now at this point, as those average appearances would show you. But let's talk some rumors for a second, and go back to where they first began. February of 2024. So in February of 2024, when Neymar was fully an Al-Hilal player and trying to fully recover from his knee injury, and Santos was playing in Brazil's Serie B, Santos president Marcelo Teixeira, he's a prominent figure here, so get used to hearing his name. But yeah, Teixeira said that he had spoken with Neymar, saying, quote, "The conversation with Neymar was very quick, but it's always quick conversations that have good effect. To come back and play here, he needs to recover well from injury. He will continue his experience in Saudi Arabia and then come back here." 1 month later, Teixeira was questioned about a possible return for Neymar once again in March of 2024, and he doubled down, baby, saying, quote, "He has a relationship of appreciation, respect, and gratitude towards Santos. I think that path to return is inevitable, but for now I see a void in his intention to return to Brazil as many things need to develop." So at this point, I think everyone's understanding was that Neymar's intention was to see out his contract with Al-Hilal, and then in June of 2025, when his contract is up, a 33-year-old Neymar will sign with Santos and make his big return to Brazil, if they are in the top flight again, I would assume. That's a rather romantic thing, you know, players returning to the clubs that raised them or made their reputation explode. And unfortunately, it rarely happens despite players always chatting about it. There are exceptions, of course. Buffon, for example, going back to Parma, Di Maria back to Benfica, Marcelo to Fluminense before the big collapse in their relationship recently. Those are the 3 that come to mind right away, but you guys will surely tell me of some others in the comments. So for a while, things went quiet. Neymar went to the States over the summer as he was rehabbing his injury to watch Brazil in the Copa America. Poor guy. Injured and then having to watch that version of Brazil. He's been through enough. But then in the present, November of 2024, those pesky Santos rumors wouldn't go away. And there's a reason for that. Because Santos was promoted. Now it seems more realistic that Neymar would return there now that they are in the top flight. So, Cesar Luis Merlo is an Argentinian journalist who is well respected and trusted for his statements regarding transfers in South America. And his statement is what got a lot of this fervor going. Here's his tweet from November 17th, where he said, Neymar is ready to return to Santos. The club where he made his debut already has an agreement with the 32-year-old footballer. The termination of Al-Hilal is being worked on, and the idea is to announce it once the tournament that marked the Peixes, Santos' nickname, return to the top flight is over. So that's where the recent inundation of Neymar to Santos news came from. But even before that, on November 1st of 2024, Marcelo Teixeira, he was asked once again about Neymar's return to Santos and what those conversations are looking like. And he responded incredibly bluntly by saying, quote, Neymar will arrive at Santos in June. That's the conversation we are having. He will come back. Okay, plain and simple. But there were also some rumors going around of Neymar going to Palmeiras, the most successful Brazilian club of late, the club that has produced guys like Endrick, Estevão, Vitor Reis, who's recently been linked to Real Madrid, you know, talented fellas, right? The club president of Palmeiras, Leila Pereira, put those rumors of Neymar to bed with a few statements regarding Neymar's potential return to Brazil via Palmeiras, as she said, quote, Neymar will not join Palmeiras. This club isn't a medical department. I want someone who will come to join immediately, who can play tomorrow if the manager wishes. I won't accept us signing a player who's unfit to play. He's a great player, but he will not come to our club. There's absolutely no problem with his decision, but he will not come here. He's going to Santos. Whoa, Layla. First of all, she's been getting some heat for the "this club isn't a medical department" quote. But come on, guys. Let's not be so serious and get offended by everything. Let's relax. It's fine. Neymar has been injured over and over and over and over again in the last few years, and because of that, Palmeiras isn't interested at the moment. When you couple that with the other aspect that she said, that Neymar will go to Santos, she basically rubbished all reports of him joining Palmeiras. So, as mentioned, Santos secured promotion back into Serie A in Brazil, an immediate return to the top flight, and they want to crown themselves for this achievement by bringing in a club legend like Neymar to celebrate it. It seemed like it was inevitable, though Neymar's agent, Pini Zahavi, spoke to football media instrument spoke to transfer insider Fabrizio Romano and said, quote, there are no talks ongoing for Neymar to leave Al-Hilal. He's under contract and very happy there. Neymar's father and me, we are the only people who can talk about Ney's future. I don't know where recent rumors are coming from. Now, some people saw this as Neymar's return to Santos being off, but look at the quote again. Nowhere does Zahavi say anything about ruling out a return to Santos, just that he claims that there are no talks between Neymar's camp and Al-Hilal to come to some sort of termination agreement. Also, when it comes to the barometer of people whom you can trust to not lie to you, agents are pretty low on the list. They will say anything to try to control the narrative in such a way that it benefits their client, their player. Saying publicly that Neymar wants to terminate his contract with Al-Hilal would cause Al-Hilal to say, okay, you want to cease relations with us? We owe you pay until June 2025. How about if you waive that, let it go, you can go for free and we'll call it even. Sound good? Pini, on the other hand, will try to get some sort of compensation for the contract termination. That's his job as the agent, you know? So take what he's saying with a grain of salt, just as our Argentinian friend Cesar Luis Merlo did, as he defended what he wrote by saying, quote, I stand by every word that I have published. Thank God in Brazil, people know how I work. As has happened so many times, time will put things in their place. Let's go, Cesar. Stand up for your credibility, which again, he has plenty of support and people who trust his word. Cesar Mercato Merlo, as he's lovingly known as by some. For the final bit here, Teixeira spoke once again about Neymar's return, well, potential return, I should say. Speaking at a press conference on Sunday, November 17th, 2024, Teixeira said that he will think about next season after this season has concluded, adding that, quote, we are going to wait for the end of the championship and then, yes, calmly planned for 2025. I have no news about Neymar. We are waiting for news from the player and the club. Whatever the outcome, Santos will not be able to interfere. If they could, they would intervene to solve it. But we are monitoring it so that, when it is decided, we can make a statement. When it's decided, we can make a statement. Read into that however you like, but it's certainly interesting. Teixeira has maintained, to be fair to him, since February of 2024 that Neymar will return to Santos. Clearly he is confident, and he also has Cesar Merlot signing off on Neymar's return to Santos, but the main question is, when? It seems inevitable, but we don't know whether Neymar will terminate his Al-Hilal contract or wait it out and then move to Santos. But if I was a betting man, based on the information that's out there, I would bet on his return to Santos eventually. But betting is bad, don't do it. Alright guys, that's it for me today. I hope this video was helpful for you, and if it was, I hope to see you in another one. Thanks for watching. Bye.